Hello there, my friends. Welcome to Hondo's lovely channel of unboxings and exposition and Star Wars Legion. Yes, we'll give you a wonderful price on this. It'll be a wonderful experience. We're going to go on an adventure and find things and do things and look at everything in this wonderful box. And my friend Crabbok will take over from here. Hello there. What's going on, everybody? We are looking at Hondo today for Star Wars Legion. This is the early release box. Big thanks to Peter for sending this out for the channel. I appreciate you so much. This was only available from certain retailers with pre-orders and wasn't available to everybody, but he is going to be coming out with the Weequay Pirates next year. But this is just an early look at Hondo Ohnaka, and we're going to unbox this and take a look at him. He is a mercenary, and he has compatible with all four factions, which is very cool. So let's go ahead and get this thing opened. If you guys are new here to the channel, I do a lot of Star Wars Legion videos. I don't always do a Hondo voice at the beginning of the video, though, so this was a special treat. I also want to remind you we're doing the 12 Days of Life Day for December. So make sure you're subscribed. You can enter to win any of the 12 giveaways we're going to be running all through December. You just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment on one of my videos. It's as simple as that. Tell me some of your favorite Hondo moments or favorite Jim Cummings moments, who the legendary voice actor who was also Minsk in the original first two Baldur's Gate games and is all over the place, right? He's everywhere. Look at all of these tokens we've got. Look at all of these tokens for Hondo. Look at this. All right, so let's just start off. We're going to show you everything that we've got in here. We've got our little credits page. Everybody who helped bring this to life. We have the lack of instructions. We have all of this stuff. I have seen some people say, you know, if they're going to put a whole piece of paper in here, they should at least print what instructions they have. But one of the reasons they don't do that anymore is that it has to do with the timeline of getting paper to print, and once the instructions are finalized, they will already have had to have sent all the paper products to print. Otherwise, it would be more delays and stuff. So that's kind of how. And we started to see that towards the end of the FFG run with some of their boxes that they had sent instructions to print, and then some of the times the instructions weren't accurate. And that's kind of one of the problems that we have in this. So we do have lots of different tokens. Now, some people have been asking about this token here. What does this mean, right? So we've got our mercenary or shadow collective token. We've got this new token here that is used as just kind of a universal, like I don't want to run rebels if you're running rebels also, so I'll just run these. Or I don't want to have to carry... I play all four factions, and I don't want to have to carry around, you know, four specific types of command tokens, so I can just use this one. And that's kind of what these are for. The problem is if everybody's using these, then you will potentially run into some confusion. So one of the cool things that you can do about that is get like maybe a Sharpie, a colored Sharpie, maybe orange or green or black or chrome or something like that, and put like a ring around your tokens. That's if you are using cardboard tokens. I know a lot of competitive players will use poker chips or custom tokens. I use these the luxury playstyle tokens. I still use them sometimes. It just does depend on the list that I'm running and you know, and how many of a certain type I need. Like I think from Wookiees I needed a whole lot of special forces, and I didn't have quite enough to do that. We've got a sprue here with a lot of interesting information on this guy. Now he is going to be doing the Captain Morgan on this crate here, and he's got the Kowakian monkey lizard on his shoulder. And yeah, by the way, how about this art? He looks a little bit he looks scary right there, right? Like doesn't the teeth look a little sharp? Isn't he like a little creepy there? Like he's in Rebels he's a lot happier, but here he's a little bit scary. So we're going to put him together. We'll show you how he looks assembled, and we're going to run through all of the cards we have. There are different language versions of these as well. All right, we've got Hondo's unit card here. Here's the back of it, so you can see his upgrades. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of the other language versions. I'm going to flip that over,
And I'm going to put him right here so we can look at both sides at the same time. I've said this before, not the biggest fan of the card redesign, putting what I think is important information on the back, but combo it with the fact that they give you multi-language cards, then you can still do kind of like this and still look at everything. So it still works. We've got, he's Hondo Ohnaka. He is the trustworthy compatriot. He is an operative, and he's a mercenary, and he can work in the Empire, the Rebels, the Separatists, and the Republic. He spans all of the eras and works with everybody if they have the right price. He has this keyword called "My mood is based on profit." Now, this is a new keyword that it turns the value of X equal to the command card's number of pips that you played this turn. So Arsenal X could be Arsenal 2 if you have a 2-pip, Arsenal 3 if you played a 3-pip this turn. So always keep track of those things. If you play standing orders, you will need to make sure that you keep track of that. Don't just pull it right back in your hand and forget. So, if you have him on the battlefield, make sure you're keeping track of that. And make sure your opponent knows as well. But yeah, so Arsenal X, which is kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Now, he only has 2 weapons, so not going to need too many arsenals, but he's got Disengage. He's got Independent Dodge X, so he can get a lot of dodge tokens if you play a 3 or a 4 pip, which is nice. He's got Nimble, so if you're getting at least 1 dodge, you're going to be able to get it back after you're getting shot, which is going to be helpful since he's got no Surge, right? But he has Reliable X, so he can get some Surge tokens. He also has Uncanny Luck X, which is a nice way to be able to reroll some dice. This can help him survive. He can be one-shotted potentially, but you're gonna have to play him carefully. He is able to throw a decent number of dice if you have a 2-pip. He definitely has the potential to do that. But again, with no offensive surge, no defensive surge, and having to rely on reliable luck tokens and maybe some token help from somebody else potentially, that could work. He does have 2 grenade slots, which is really interesting. Equipment, 2 grenade slots, and the comms, which does mean that if you did standing orders, I suppose you could throw like 2 grenades. But the problem is not all grenades work in the same stuff. Like at least like Hondo's blaster has versatile, for example. But like some of the grenades you need to be in melee. Some of the grenades work in melee. Some of them don't. So it's like this. It's just he seems so interesting, and he seems like he could be a genuinely fun character for the game, and I think that that's a very cool thing. I like that they're taking different designs, and this is a fun guy at 85 points. He also has 2 command cards. I also want to point out his courage is also value X. So you play a 1-pip or maybe a 2-pip, and you try to run him in there. He's likely to panic. But if you are playing a 3 or 4-pip, it's going to be a lot harder for him to do that. But you can't take too much advantage of that because he is a mercenary. You're not going to be able to, make him your commander. At least not normally. But it does look like there will be some kind of pirate battle force at some point. So I'm sure that will change things up for him a little bit. Now we've got some of his cards. I'm going to move these to the side a little bit here. He does only have 2 command cards. He's got a 2 and a 3-pip. And this is kind of one of the trends that they've been doing lately is they've been changing up the number of command cards that everybody gets. Not everybody has a 1, 2, and a 3 anymore. So he has, that's just good business. This one is kind of, I think this is his most powerful one. It's incredible, as a matter of fact. It's a 2-pip. It's him and 1 unit. So that is a nice way that he is able to issue an order to somebody else, probably a weak way pirate, right? Once they come out. This round, Hondo Ohnaka cannot be suppressed or panicked and may perform a free move action during his activation. The first time Hondo Ohnaka moves into melee with an enemy unit this round, after the move is resolved, he removes all suppression tokens on him, and that enemy unit gains the tokens removed. Then that enemy unit removes all green tokens on them, and Hondo Ohnaka gains the tokens removed. Now, there's a couple of ways that this one can go down. Typically, this is a card you play if Hondo is got a lot of suppression on him but not panicked, right? And you're like, okay, let's try and see if we can get some moves out of him, or maybe maybe he's going to run the risk. Maybe you've got a commander that's or some people that can inspire him, so where he's not gonna. You don't want to pay this and risk him panicking, and then all of a sudden he doesn't get to activate and doesn't get to do it. So you want him to be able to move into melee with somebody. Maybe he's got 3 suppression. I think that's maybe a potential good way to do it. He won't panic here, right? But he's got to be close because he's going to get 1 free move during his action. Now, if he's just got the 2, he's still going to have 1 fewer action. So there's, maybe he only has 1. You do a double move, and then you still get to attack. And that's the beauty of it, because in this point, you're going to be able to attack twice, Arsenal 2. You move into, and you get to steal their tokens too. So he's like stealing, like the art is beautiful. He's stealing Obi-Wan's lightsaber. Obi-Wan's over here. And he gets to put his suppression on the enemy, and then he gets to attack them, and he gets to use their tokens against them because he takes their green tokens. Well, we'll point out that standby is no longer a green token, so he can basically take aims, dodges, and also surge tokens. So it's cool. It's very cool, as a matter of fact. However, if you play this card, he won't get the independent dodge X because, hey, he is giving himself an order, so he won't trigger independent. So this is one he has to be a little more offensive for, and maybe he can steal a dodge from somebody else. Or maybe he's close enough he can even take a dodge action if that's not in the cards. But this does a couple of things. I mean, it gives you a chance to, go in and put some suppression on somebody. That's not, I don't know if that's really the biggest strength here, but maybe. I think the bigger thing is that he's stealing tokens from somebody else, denying somebody else those tokens, especially if you can get into melee with like an exemplar unit that has a bunch of them. That's something that you can do. It's kind of cool. And with Arsenal 2, with the 2-pip, you can potentially hit, like, that's 7, well, you won't be able to roll all of those dice if you're in melee, but if you have a grenade on him, again, you can roll a decent number of dice, right? It's all right. It's all right. It's kind of cool. Again, it could go a couple of different ways. There's a lot. It's kind of versatile. And this one is a very fun one. Stories, so many of them true. I love it. This is Hondo Ohnaka only for a 3-pip. This round, when an allied unit begins its activation on the battlefield at range 1 of Hondo, if Hondo has so they mean Hondo, not the other allied unit. If Hondo has a face-up order token, so he hasn't gone yet, kind of like Rex in his fire support card, right? If he has a face-up order token and hasn't gone yet, right, then and he's not panicked, Hondo may gain a suppression token. If he does, the activating unit gains an aim, a dodge, or a surge token. So the idea here is he's telling stories, but he's actually trying to stay out of danger. I think this is one where you want him kind of out of line of sight and with some line of sight blocking terrain, kind of safe, but close enough to for people to hear him, right? And close enough for everybody to be able to hear his dashing stories of bravado and swashbuckling. So that's the cool thing. Now this allows somebody to say, "Hey, I'm inspired. I'll take an aim token and I'll go fight for you, Hondo." Like, this is a cool card, but it also is a 3-pip that only gives an order to Hondo. So this one is kind of something that you want to have some order control through other means. I can see this one kind of working in like a B1 line where you've got like a direct AI unit or something like that, and you're able to kind of activate your entire, have full action control or something like that. So you can, start doing these, because if somebody starts shooting Hondo, then he's going to have suppression and it's going to build up on him, and then pretty soon he's not going to be able to do this. Now, suppressed but not panicked is going to be hard here because he's going to have 3 courage for this one. So it would, with the X on his courage, he'd have to go all the way up to 6 before he's panicked. However, every time he uses this, he's taking a suppression token. If people are shooting him also, he's going to be taking more suppression. It's one of those deals where You have to be careful. Now, you can extend this even further if you have Inspire nearby or something like that. You can try and do that. But I think in general, if you're keeping him kind of safe, you're not going to just have him standing out in the middle of the battlefield. I think you're going to be able to do some fun stuff with this one. I think they're both pretty cool cards, and they kind of fit. They're very thematic, and they fit what he is trying to do, and I think it's very cool. Let's go ahead and put this model together. All right, so we've got Hondo built. We've got the little Kowakian monkey lizard on his shoulder, and very, very, very thin parts for this guy. I actually have a little more shaving and cleaning up to do on his ear, but it's so thin, and I'm afraid I'm going to do some damage to it. So I'm like, well, let me go ahead and film it now. This way, in case I cut his ear off later, I can at least say I filmed it first. He's cool. Now, one of the things when I was putting this guy together, I got to do both of the ears a little bit more. I love the free-flowing pieces on him, on his head tails, or his hair's kind of coming back there a little bit. Rather, they're not head tails for him. But no, it's a great pose. His sprue did have a completely optional torso assembly, so you could have him as this guy instead, which does mean that when you get the Weequay Pirates, you'll be able to build him as this guy, which is actually a cool incentive to get him early, because then when you get the Weequay Pirates box, you can have +1 Weequay pirate. Maybe this is a leader. They may already have 2 versions of this, but regardless, you have a couple of options now. This shoulder elbow joint right here, you could do them without the binoculars if you want. So you have some options on this guy. But yeah, so there, that's pretty cool. And then you don't have to use the monkey lizard if you don't want to. But I wanted to build him in all his glory. Getting ready to do business with Ezra Bridger. So yeah. All right, so that is a look at everything that comes in the Hondo Ohnaka early release. We got. I'm assuming this whole sprue will be one portion of the Weequay Pirates, and he's got some interesting command cards, and it looks like he's going to be a fun character to play, who's going to be subtly different every turn, and could give you some pretty cool incentive to play higher pip command cards, especially with interesting things being done with command cards, and the fact that he can go in just about any faction. So that's also very cool. However, if they do other factions outside, like, he might not be able to work with the First Order. You know what I'm saying? So if they ever do that, who knows? Who knows? I'm speculating. But then again, they can always errata and do extra stuff if there's a need to do that. But that's Hondo Ohnaka. Big thanks to my patrons. Big thanks to Peter for sending this out. Thank you so much. And it's a very cool. It's a very cool miniature. A lot of really tiny pieces on this guy. It's going to be a very interesting one to paint. I think I'm going to be using my smallest brushes and my big goggles here to magnify, to look at that guy. Look at Hondo. That doesn't work well on the camera. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and may the force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes. So say we all. And don't forget to use code Crabbok VIP over at BattleFoam to save 15% off. Link is in the description below. If you're looking for some cool, groovy containers, check out BattleFoam and use code Crabbok VIP. All right, that's going to do it. May the force be with you. All that other good stuff. And don't forget to always wash your socks.